Hey man, this is Mark Borchardt, and if you know what's right, if you know what's good, if you know what's best for you, listen to WithoutYourHead.com.
All right, and we are back, and we are joined by Joel David Moore. Welcome to Without Your Head.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Now, do you always include the David, or can I just call you Joel Moore?
You can call me whatever you want. You can call it just as long as you call me Daddy.
Right.
The David came from that there was a guy named Joel Moore, and so I had to be either Joel D. Moore and Joel David Moore. I tried to go with the less pretentious name. I figured the initial name was just like, are you kidding? You know. But
yeah, then people just want to beat you up after that, so don't go with that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the D? You think you're cool, dude? You think you're cool? Like, whoa, man, I just had to make a decision here, but... So I carry around my butterfly knife just because of that.
Oh, man. Just tell him it means dynamite. Dynamite Dave. Dynamite Moore. Right.
Dynamite Moore.
Actually, I wouldn't recommend using that. I don't think it'll go.
I like it.
Yeah, let everybody know you got Spirals out on DVD right now.
Yeah, they're great. If you guys haven't, if anybody hasn't seen it out there, please go check it out. It's a really cool, stylish sort of Hitchcockian thriller with myself and Zachary Levi from NBC's Chuck and the lovely and talented Amber Tamblyn. So. We have a good cast, and we worked hard on the film, and I think that it shows the chemistry is really cool, and it's just a cool story, you know, like it's different. It's not a horror film, and I did it with Adam. I co-directed it with Adam Green, and I think a lot of people were assuming that it was going to be in the horror genre, but it's a very much like it's in the genre, but it's very much a thriller and sort of a psychological drama.
Yeah, all three of, we're not just saying this because you're on here, but we all really like the movie.
Oh, thank you very much.
Movie.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It is Spiral we're talking about, right?
Yeah, Spiral.
Kidding!
Oh, not that one. I thought we were talking about Hatchet.
Oh, wow.
Actually, you know, you said you did it with Adam Green. You both directed it, co-directed it. Are you glad that it is like a totally different movie? You didn't want to do like another Hatchet? Not that that's because we really like Hatchet too.
Yeah. No, I loved working on Hatchet, and that's the reason that we pulled half of the crew over to have them work on Spiral. We got our cameraman from Hatchet, and we got the DP Will Barrett, who is amazing, and that's I think why it looks so great, and especially with the local crew we shot in Portland, Oregon. And just Portland makes a great sort of dark, kind of gloomy backdrop for this kind of movie, and it works really well. But yeah, we wanted to do something that was 180 degrees different than Hatchet, but of course, when I co-wrote the movie with Jeremy Boring, we didn't know anything about Hatchet, so we were just trying to make something that was different for Zach and I, something that we have done predominantly comedy, and that's wonderful, and that's sort of the bread and butter. But we wanted to do something that was branching us out so that people could see it, and wrote this sort of stylized drama, and thought that this was the perfect movie to sort of make our mark and use as a calling card as a company to break us out into something different. And I think that it does show a different side of both of us, and it's nice because Amber was attracted to the script right away because she was able to play an adult, and it had a different feel to it. It wasn't teeny bop dialogue, and of course when we got it to Adam was really excited to do something that was very different than Hatchet. So I think it worked on all levels. We were just a big, happy, loving family, and we spooned for most of it. And on lunch breaks, we got all laid down and in sort of a semicircle and spooned. It was great.
That's what we do on the breaks here on the show.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah. But, it's primarily like 3 characters, well, mostly 2 characters, but it's 3 characters. If you want to make sure, you got 3 really good people for the movie, because, if you didn't have, somebody wasn't good at one role, is only, a few roles in the movie.
Yeah, well, I think that, again, we wrote it for Zach and I, so two of the roles were already cast before we raised the money for it even. But that of course helps with the package. But we wrote that movie. I mean, the gal's name is Amber. I mean, our first choice was Amber Tamblyn, and we went out and fortunately got our first choice. Zach and Amber had a relationship through their agent, and so we got it to her. She read it, within a week and was signed on. So it really helped to put the whole deal together and raise the rest of the money that we needed to make the movie.
When you were writing it, you said you wrote it for you and Zach, so you knew all along that you'd be playing the main role in it?
Yeah, I wanted to do something, again, that was dramatic and crazy and sort of go as far away as I could from the robots and the simple dodgeball type of characters that I was playing. So.
Oh, we got a caller here. We got Byron on the line.
Hey there, Joe.
Yo!
I got the chance to see Spiral today, and I also really, really liked it. I really got drawn in, especially by your performance.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. We didn't know exactly how my performance was going to be taken at the beginning because we went through a version of the script right before we shot, and I was like, look, we had him talking more, and I really said, I think that I want Mason to feel the way that he is going to be endearing, because it's really hard to make sort of a psychotic, possibly killer be as your lead character, to be endearing. So I said, we got to strip him of all this dialogue and just make him react and innocently just kind of live in this world that creates these problems around him. So thanks, man. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, and it definitely worked, especially in the first half. You're so sympathetic. You kind of seem a little frail, but very. Yeah, I couldn't take my eyes off of your face. You were just so expressive that I thought you really deserved kudos for that performance.
Thank you. Thanks. A lot of people A lot of people say, it's a Brad Pitt type face, so it's very hard to just take your eyes off of it.
I like that.
And by a lot of people, I mean my mother.
There are a lot of interesting dialogue exchanges in the movie, like when Mason goes right past the cliche, do you believe in an afterlife, and goes straight to, do you think people go to hell? Or like the little monologue on jazz. I was curious if you, especially since you helped write it, if you had any favorite dialogue exchanges in the movie.
Well, I think the jazz one is a real nice moment for Mason specifically, because he's, Amber follows it up by, that's the most words I've ever heard you say in one setting, because it's, when you get a guy like that, and this is true in real life, if you find these off characters, if you find someone, I studied up on autistic children and people, and really wanted to kind of, while he's not autistic, I wanted to see how they socially interacted, because I think that this guy, Mason is so socially inept, but it's not his fault. It's not that he doesn't want to, it's not that he's not trying to reach out. He's just been scorned, and, Zach's character, Berkeley, and Mason's character have obviously both had trauma in the past. Something happened with both of their parents, and I think it's a nice expression of the two ways that people deal with those problems. Some people just kind of suck it up in and hold it inside and just go out there and be sort of the Berkeley character, where you're just, maybe you're womanizing, you're outgoing, you try to just get over it. Never don't talk about it. Even says in the basketball scene, you got to take a hint from me and just leave it behind. And Mason didn't do that. Mason is continually trying to resolve whatever is going on, and I think that's why he is painting, and that's why he has these sketches and these poses that are all the same. He's obviously trying to work something out inside of him that is apparently never worked out. Yes. So in the writing of it, I think that I love the dialogue between the Berkeley and the Mason character, because it's really fun to watch you know, like in the office scene when I'm playing basketball, he's just, I'm not doing very well, and he's saying, well, you're still a painter, and that whole kind of exchange right there is one of my favorite scenes, because he just kind of gets to go off about their past and about how they were in, you know, that he had found somebody stole his underwear, so you can see that he's always kind of been the ladies' man, and it's nice. It's nice. I like the bench scene with Amber and I when she talks about at the pond, when she talks about her Indian Native Americans stealing souls when they take pictures or paint pictures of people. She kind of just rambles off for a second, and it is this. We didn't want to make her too smart isn't the word, but too knowledgeable, like she's, you know, she knows all these facts. We wanted to kind of leave her guessing all the time, so a lot of her facts aren't even correct, you know. It's fun. It's that kind of a girl, you know. She's a girl that really wants to be outgoing and like people, but hasn't found her niche in life, and I think that's what attracts her to a guy like Mason, you know. And unfortunately, Mason, you know, crap goes bad. Right.
That makes it believable, because, you know, if he's just a total crazy guy and had nothing redeeming about him, you'd be, you know, why is she even you know, associating herself with this guy?
Well, this is one of the hardest parts of writing it. We had to find moments where she was obviously trying to reach out to people and it wasn't working, and that's why one of the most important moments between them that establishes their relationship is the time where she's crying outside of the phone bank, because it shows, man, she's just not, it's not working. And for Mason, it's really important because it's his one step into, okay, I'm not going to walk away. I'm going to just sit down where I normally sit down, and you know, that sort of starts their relationship together.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else there, Aaron?
I was just curious if you have read Junji Ito's graphic novel called Spiral. Obviously, this isn't an adaptation of that novel, but I was curious if you had heard of it or read it.
I have heard of it. I've heard it in reference a lot. People will ask if this has anything to do with that, but I've never read it. That's probably purely out of laziness, though, because I should. Because then I can go, yeah, it's about this and it's about that, and it has nothing to do with Spiral. But I just sort of guess that it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, they're nothing alike. But and while Junji Ito's book could use an adaptation, like this is so good that even as a huge fan of that graphic novel, like I'm really happy to have something else attached to Spiral that's this good. So thank you very much for taking my call.
It's really bizarre.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks for calling in, Ryan. What made you decide to use jazz in the movie? Was it like something that was in there in the script, or just something you decided, you know, sounded good when you were making the movie?
We had adapted this from a short film that I had written, and I brought it to Jeremy and said, you know, what do you think about this? He read the short and he said, I love these characters. I actually think that this could be a feature.
Mm-hmm.
So in the process of building it into a feature, we had to kind of fill the gaps. What is this guy about? What does he do? How can he lure the girls in, so to speak, into his life? What can be attractive to a girl about him that would you know, want them to even be in the proximity of a guy like this? And I think that, you know, with art, you know, this is something. I mean, this happens a lot. You know, the hot girl, the cute girl, ending up with the kind of weirdo, artsy dude. You know, these are the kind of guys that we lost girls to in high school.
That's my life. I'm a cartoonist, you know.
There you go. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it on their website at withoutyourhead.com, but you actually have a caricature up on our website right now. That was done.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll check that out. I want you to sign it. Send it to me, huh? Come on. Jeez.
We can do that.
Yeah,
although I'll warn you. Yeah, the last person I think we did that with was Benny Chapman. And he just died over the weekend, so might be like a cursed thing, so I don't know.
You know what? Let's go ahead and just nix that. That's a bad idea.
Yep. We'll send you a copy or something.
That one was reversed. So
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
sent him a copy. He signed it and sent it back. So it was a little different. I don't want to give too much away from the movie, if people haven't seen it. But did you ever want to show like the final sketch in the movie, or you always knew like you couldn't show that?
We always knew. We knew from the beginning that we weren't going to show it because we wanted it. A lot of Spiral is audience interpretation throughout the whole movie. I mean, we never actually say what happens with his parents. We never say what happens to Zach's family and what But everybody knows. People know. People know how the relationship that Berkeley and Mason had before we pick up in the story. They understand Amber's past. They understand why she would be attracted, but we never say things. And it's funny reading some of the reviews, which is a horrible idea to do as a filmmaker. We heard a few people said, well, it's way too mysterious. I don't. Note to writers: if you're going to make a mysterious movie, that doesn't mean that the story has to be mysterious. Basically saying, that they didn't know enough. But every time we asked anybody, they knew exactly what was going on. So I want to sit those guys down and go, A, don't be drunk when you watch the movie because that won't help. B, I'm pretty confident you didn't watch the whole movie, so don't write a review on something that you haven't watch the whole movie. It's just, I think that, look, you take chances with movies, and we had a specific way of going about the storytelling in this film, and I, without saying too much about my own movie, I think we were successful in at least giving enough information that people could make assumptions as to how as to the relationships, and that's also why if we gave too much information throughout the story and then didn't give information like what was in the bathroom or what was on the last sketch, then those two things would seem odd to me. So I think that
I think that makes the movie.
Oh, me too. I just wonder if that was intentional. You knew all along you weren't going to show you certain things.
Yeah, there were certain things that we were like, okay, this is never gonna, this is gonna be sort of the mix to the movie, like at the end, like the thing that drives people crazy. No, I want to see it.
And a lot of times, that's scarier because you can imagine something, way worse, and maybe you can actually show.
Absolutely. We ask all the time in Q&As, what do people think is on the last page, and you get a ton of different answers. You get from anything from vicious to very simple answers, and I think all of them could be correct. I think that Jeremy and I both have different ideas about what's on that last page.
Did Adam Green, coming off a Hatchet, did he want to put anything with like torn limbs or anything like that in the movie?
Well, what's nice is the scare moments in the movie are sort of mastered by Adam, and he and I worked hard on the shot list and making sure that if we were going to have these, because it's not a bloody movie, how can we assess these kind of scare moments and not make them cheesy, but make them still kind of shocking, and so he was, of course, a big part in making that go smoothly.
Yeah, I mentioned before we had you on the show that I didn't even notice that till I was just looking at the box earlier that the movie's rated PG-13, which I think is kind of a compliment because you don't think about that at all when you're watching. You don't think it's like a kiddish movie or anything like that. It's a scary movie.
Yeah, and I think that I think that if you look at those old and if you look at those old Hitchcock movies, which would probably get the PG rating right now, but at the time were way intense for the audience. Those are very dark, and they have subtleties, and they have a feeling about them that does feel pretty heavy, and that's what we were going for more than the blood and guts on this one.
Yeah. Is there any backstory to Mason's fear of elf ears?
No, I don't even know where that came from. We've had that question before. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that. I mean, you know, I was probably afraid of elves when I was a kid, and maybe that's where it came from. Jeremy would never admit to being afraid of anything, so I'll take the rap for this one.
Right.
Or maybe, you know, I don't know. Maybe they actually have typology of terrorists. You know, I don't know. You know, we can read into it a little bit.
Well, I was Adam Green's on MySpace and whatnot, and I've seen this picture on his on there. He's got Hillbilly Jim up on his camera when he was doing Hatchet, and during the commentary, he actually talks about Hillbilly Jim. I was wondering why he's like, of all the wrestlers in the world, why is he obsessed with Hillbilly Jim?
I don't know, man. I think that guy just maybe has a crush on him. Maybe that's just something he does at night. You know, he sleeps with Hillbilly Jim. He takes him in the shower with him. You know, make sure all the parts are clean there. You know, I don't know. It was something that was literally going on behind my back, and Adam knew some of it, but he didn't know exactly what shots you know, they were in and everything. And there's this. If you read the commentary, they pulled us out of the room at one point so that they could tape this little kind of like little short with Hillbilly Jim going into the bathroom and checking things out and blah blah blah. And to pull us out, they had to have an excuse. So one of our producers called us downstairs and said that the day before was all lost in the mail, or there was a scratch on the lens the whole day, so it was unusable. Like some horrible thing to tell a director. Like tell me that you know, Amber's going to be 7 minutes late or whatever, but don't tell me that, you know, yesterday you lost everything. We just have to do it over.
Oh,
we're not going to be able to, actually, so we may as well quit now, guys. Quit while you're ahead. Let's all go have a beer. What? It was like this horrible. So to the point where they actually had to go like, oh no, but I think we're going to be able to work it out. Like I think it'll be okay. Like, are you serious? This is the worst thing you could be telling us.
Were you friends with Adam before Hatchet, or is that where you guys met?
No, we met on Hatchet. Hatchet was supposed to star a sort of Chad Michael Murray looking dude, and I went in and read, and he was like, yeah, screw those pretty boys. Let's put a real tall, goofy guy in there. That's a great idea. But I think it worked because I think that, you know, if you're going to be running around and getting killed, your audience may want to follow you a little more if you're not beautiful and blonde.
Right.
I don't know. So like, oh, that guy doesn't deserve to be killed. He didn't get any girls when he was a kid.
When I was watching, you know, Hatch, I've seen it a bunch of times. I was wondering, what exactly does Kane Hodder like drool down onto your face?
Oh gosh, I don't know, his soul. I think it was a mixture of like slime, like not rubber. It was something weird. It was something that I don't think you can digest, which probably was a great idea. I don't know. They made some crazy stuff on that. When I had to throw up in that movie, they literally brought over, I think it was half orange juice and half tomato paste or something. Like they mixed it together so that when I drank it, I would just like vomit. Oh, so awful. The stuff that they put together on that movie was, I know what it was. It was half orange juice, half clam chowder.
Just the thoughts
of just thinking about it makes me burp gas.
You know, one of the specials on the DVD, they say about like Kane didn't want to interact with like the rest of the cast, you know, out of character. Did that did that help you get into the role? Like be like
totally.
Come out scared.
Totally. There was always a bit of a fear factor on set. You know, if you watch that, I mean, you can really see that Adam ended up using all the first takes of everything because those girls were literally scared out of their minds. I mean, they could not. They couldn't handle it. They would, because he would just sit behind rocks and yell. it was kind of shocking. It's kind of shocking because he's a big dude. It takes a lot for me to. I'm a tall guy, you know. It takes a lot for me to be kind of sized up by someone. But I was afraid of that guy.
Well, one of my favorite extras too is the story about the like when he throws the rubber hatchet at you.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, he literally. I was literally scared. I was like, guys, this is not right, man. You can't be doing this. You can't throw a real. But I didn't want to say anything to him because he's huge. So, and I knew that ultimately he knew better than me. And I was like, he won't. Okay, fine. He's not going to actually hit me with it. So when I got hit with it, I was limping. I was like, I just got hit with a hatchet. I'm gonna have damage to my legs.
Did you ever get him back for that, or probably best?
How do you get a guy like that back? What do you do? Yeah. What do you do? Do you light him on fire? He's been lit on fire. How do you get him back at a guy like that? I could run a truck into that guy, and he'd get up, wipe himself off, and go, been there, done that.
Yeah, you need more than like the whoopee cushion to kind of get him back, I think.
Yeah. What can you do to that guy?
Since you, go on, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go on.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, I'm sure probably death is the only thing that could actually get that guy.
I got you back.
If I shot the man, if I shot the man, he'd be like, "Oh, good one, you got me."
One of my favorite parts about Hatchet, though, is just how the sheer brutality of Victor. He just comes out and just starts hacking guys to pieces.
Oh yeah, I mean it's one of the things that attracted me to the project is that it's it had this 80s style to it. It was a throwback film, and I wanted to do something. If I was going to do a horror movie, I wanted to do something that was fun, that had a lot of comedy. And Adams, he's a great horror writer, but he's a comedy writer. He is a funny guy, and he writes great dialogue, and it's really hard to find good dialogue in in scripts anymore that aren't affected and gaggy. So it was just really easy for all of us. It was really easy for us to kind of fall into those roles. You got the Mercedes McNabb, who's known for doing a drama basically her whole time, that I think has some of the funniest lines in the movie, just because of the way that people can really dive into and feel comfortable with Adam's dialogue. It really helped.
Mm-hmm. Were you originally going to direct Spiral yourself? Or did you always think you'd bring them in? Somebody.
No, I knew I was going to direct it myself, but I'm not. I know where I am in my head a lot, and so I knew it was a lot to take on, especially because it was such a, it was an 18-day shoot, and we had just enough money to be able to do it, and we knew that we couldn't go over for days and days because of the crew costs, and so. But again, early on, I knew, after working with Adam, I was like, he'd be the perfect person for us to go and co-direct this together with, because Adam's role on the project was not just to come and make sure that I would make my days or anything. His role on the project was talked about way before I'd even thought about how hard it was going to be to take this on or anything. It was sort of an aftermath thought. Once we were co-directing, I was like, dude, this is perfect, because when we got closer and closer to the shoot, I wrote it, directed it, executive produced it, played that lead role. There was so much going on at that time that it just worked out well to have someone to collaborate the whole time with and make sure that we were hitting everything that we wanted to hit.
Mm-hmm. Since you had so much involved in this, not just being in it, you wrote it and co-wrote it, co-produced it, and co-directed it. What's it like, when it came out and people really did, there's a lot of people online, there's a buzz about, to see something you made that people really enjoy.
Yeah, it's probably my proudest project, because of taking it from its inception and bringing it and delivering it getting it sold and all that. I mean, we made this movie and we knew we were taking a chance. We knew it was a deliberately paced, stylized psychodrama. Those aren't the best-selling things out there. And I think that we've way outdone ourselves as far as getting it out there for people to see, and Anchor Bay really getting behind it and really enjoying it. I think that's cool. It's a really nice thing to see. It's a nice accomplishment. And of course there's been projects that I've been a part of that have been bigger and, but there's something that's really nice about watching something grow through the whole process and being there and being through every, grind them out moment and being through every up and down and waiting for the sale and waiting is anyone going to see this movie? What's the artwork look like? All of those moments are so cool because they're exciting. It's like Christmas every time something else happens with the movie, And finally, now that it's even more than just being personal. I take pride in and very personally attached to all of the films that I make, but there's something just about, it's like your baby, Mm-hmm. And this is my baby, this is my labor of love, and I hadn't had a chance to do that. As an actor, you're always working on other people's projects, and so it's nice to work on your own.
Mm-hmm. We got a caller here. Who is this?
Astro Creep.
Oh, we got Astro here. He's in the chat room too. What's your question?
Do you think there'll ever be a sequel to Hatchet?
Well, I think that the problem is that in the sequel, because of the way it ends, I think it'd just be the exact same thing again. So just with another gal. So probably not. This is a one banger, but it's something. It's funny. It's something that we had talked about. Even when we were making it, like, how is there a way that we can end it that'll make it open for a sequel? But
your character will be in bad shape if there's a sequel.
yeah. Spiral is just one of those. Try to make a sequel to an art house film. Also, it's a very sort of artsy fartsy drama.
Mm-hmm.
I say that's such a distraction from actually seeing the movie. That's not a good thing to say. It's not an artsy fartsy drama. It's a totally like there's boobs and gore the whole time. Go get it.
There you go. Blood and boobs.
Yeah.
Anything else, Astro?
No, I don't think so.
All right, thanks for calling in, man.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for supporting it. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
I wasn't sure if I was going to ask this, but you said earlier about reading like your own reviews, reviews for your stuff. But I don't know if you saw like Richard Roper's review of The Hottie and the Naughty and Ebert and Roper.
I'm sure it was awful. I didn't read any Hottie reviews because I knew that even people, it's actually a decent movie, but people hate that movie because of Paris's involvement, and it's so unfair. Paris is absolutely lovely, and people just, people like to hate. So
I mentioned this on the show before we had John, but it's like his review. I don't know. It was like personal attacks to everybody involved in the movie. It didn't really seem like a movie review.
Right. Yeah. You mean talking about Paris and talking about it's reviews are just for the most part not. It's an unfair way to make a decision on seeing a movie. There's very few reviewers who actually say, okay, based on, like, this is why, romantic comedies never get good reviews. Because people aren't reviewing a romantic comedy for being a romantic comedy. They're reviewing how good is a movie compared to every movie out there. How good is this romantic comedy compared to There Will Be Blood? Well, shit, man. Of course it's not going to be. It's not going to be as good, So I think that people should review a movie based on its genre, based on the budget, based on the people involved, based on how much time you have. Be fair in your review to something. Like we saw some review about Spiral that was comparing it to some big movie. I can't even remember. I want to say like something out at the time. It was some $20 million movie, and so this was this other movie was way more effective in this and that and this, and I'm like, well, yeah, they had $19 million more dollars to do it with. Right. That'll help.
Yeah.
They didn't have to pay your lead actress with, a candy bar and 7 Skittles.
Is that all it takes?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I paid John.
I didn't even like him.
Speaking of her, though, Amber, you're working with her again in Shadow of a Doubt remake?
Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, yeah.
Oh.
The Michael Douglas.
I have really bad handwriting, by the way, and I wrote this down. He was telling us beforehand, so I'd look smart, and I just totally butchered it.
Well, it'll be nice to work with her again. Again, she was such a doll in the making of Spiral, and she supported the film the whole time through, and that really helped in getting it out there and people being able to watch it. And she's an incredible actress, and it'll be nice to. Of course, she's dating Jesse Metcalf in the movie that we're about to do, so I don't get any crazy scenes with her. I don't get to paint her in this one.
Oh man, well, you can always just add that in.
Yeah, just sketching her randomly in a scene. The director's like, "What are you doing, dude? Nothing. Just tying the movies together. Just tying them together. Don't worry about it." Your viewers will understand. Audience will get it. They're good.
I know this is a strange question, but I was just wondering if you were a Tom Green fan.
A Tom Green fan?
Yeah.
Well, people say I look like him.
I didn't think you looked so much like him, but you actually reminded me in some of the behind the scenes stuff on the Spiral DVD.
Oh. I was a fan of his when he had the show and stuff. He's sort of probably taken himself out of the limelight. He seems like a wise person and just decided that was about it. But yeah, dude, the show was brilliant when it came out. His show was so fun. His show sort of sparked all of those kind of shows. I mean, even like the Jackasses and everything that happened after that, Punks, I think that his show was really kind of the dipping into, can we take people that are celebrities and put them in horrible situations?
Yeah, you're right. He was like the catalyst of the whole thing.
Yeah, it really was.
Everybody knows
he's funny.
I'm
a Tom Green fan. I mean, he's funny.
Just, I don't know why, but when I was watching, you were saying making movies is crazy. It just it reminded me of Tom Green. You can check out the websites, spiralthemovie.com. You think the internet's like becoming a viable place where you can advertise your movies?
Very much so. Very much so. It's really helped out on this. I think that independent filmmaking has skyrocketed because alongside with the internet. There 30 or 40 years ago, there was no way guys like us could go out and make a movie and get it out there and get somebody to release it and get it out on DVD. I mean, it was just things like that didn't happen. So I think that, as the audience for movies grows, there's the ability to make movies for cheaper that aren't studio movies. And I think independent filmmaking is such an important part of movie making, and it's continuing to grow because better movies. Look, we have indies in the Oscars now. It's continuing to get bigger because people are maybe tired of seeing the same old candy studio movies and want to see something different and want people to. The other thing about making an indie is that we have the control in the outcome of it. So if it sucks, it's my fault. Like that's my ass. I'm the one that's accountable for it. If my studio movie sucks, that's somebody else's fault because they're the ones who are cutting all the funny or cutting the wit to get it to the candy kind of place that they need it, so that your podunk red states that are in front of a TV dinner can understand how to laugh at a movie.
Was there anything in Spiral that's like taken from your real life?
Yeah, but, predominantly the killing of women.
Well, you write about what you know.
Yeah, exactly, I think that, a lot of the tics that Mason has, I'm a very tick-ridden guy. I have a lot of, little mouth tics and weird things that I do. I have a lot of nervous energy, I'm sure, to get out. And so I built some of those tics in, the clicking of teeth, and part of Mason's character comes from little isms that Joel has,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there is a socially inept person in a lot of us that we've covered up through different things, and there's that part of us that feels like, I can't break through with friends, or I can't break through into this group, or why aren't I cool enough to hang out with this guy over there, or, even in your 20s and 30s, and this always happened. We're an unstable. Humans can be very unstable, and I think that's a lot of what Mason is a lot of an exasperated quality about what a lot of us would have inside of us.
Mm-hmm. I know you guys talked about the music at the end of the movie on the commentary track, and I think that's actually one thing that John and I disagreed on. Was I actually liked the song at the end, and I don't think John didn't like the song at the end. I guess some of you guys felt the same way. What was your take on it? Were you the one who pushed for that song at the end?
No. We went back and forth. It was probably our biggest sort of trying to figure out what we were going to do with that moment. We had that song in there at the beginning, and then we tried to go back and put a jazz song in, but there's something. This is the reason why a pop song is used. Even in if you go and look at classics, they'll sometimes use a song for specific parts of movies, because there's something that strum of the guitar, or that those strings do to parts of movies that jazz doesn't. Jazz is a very offbeat. It's very hard to connect to, as my character says.
Right.
And so it was really hard to get any kind of emotion out of. It's really easy in the scare moments, because jazz is uneasy and difficult and sharp, and it's hard. It was hard to make the moments where we wanted people to kind of get the thump in the chest, and maybe bring a tear or two up. You kind of have to use something like that. We went back and forth, vacillating on it so much, trying to make something else fit. And we ended up coming back to, I think that if people listen to this song outside of their opinion on whether it should have been in the movie or not, it's a beautiful song, and it says exactly what Mason is feeling. This lonely, desperate guy that's trying to find love, trying to find something. And I don't know, and I'm not afraid. By the way, it's fine that people like it or don't like it, as long as it doesn't ruin the movie for somebody. It's fine that people are kind of jolted out of what's going on, because that's sort of what the whole movie does, by the way. The whole movie is very jolting and abrupt, and it's not for all viewers. Although I think that we were good at leaving most of it viewer-friendly, I guess is the way to say it.
Mm-hmm. Someone here in our chat room, they want to know if you knew any asthmatics or people with breathing disorders, or did you wing Mason's problem?
No, I studied up on it a lot because I wanted to make sure that it was right. And one of the funny things about people that, to my knowledge, people that I've talked to and looked up on that have asthma, we see these movies that if someone has an asthma attack, they'll have their asthma attack, take their hit, and keep breathing heavily and trying to calm themselves down. And what I noticed from discussions was predominantly, after an asthma attack, a person will take a hit and hold that hit into their lungs, just hold it in. And so that's what I did, and it was really nice with the way that it worked with the style, with the camera and everything that we were doing, because there was when I had my attacks, I'd go crazy and take that hit, and it just the world would kind of go numb for a second. as I'm holding my breath, and then when I let my breath out, it was like, okay, it's fine. Like, it was my own little, like, I actually like to think that Mason doesn't even have asthma, but that at some point a doctor gave him this to say, like, shit, man, there's not a lot we can do here. Take this. You know, like, I like literally think that some people, I think that it totally is a placebo for Mason. That somebody said, you know, they see him freaking that looks like an asthma attack, and they're like, okay, we'll have this. You know.
Someone here in our chat room, too, they want to know how cool is it to work with Sigourney Weaver?
Sigourney Weaver is possibly one of the smartest and most graceful women that I've ever met. She's cool, like, she'll kick it and hang, like, it's funny, it's everything that you want in a star like that. Like, you know, a lot of the time going into these, and I've even worked with people in the past that it's like, oh, really? You're exactly what you shouldn't be. You're exactly what they say in the tabloids. but Sig is just, I mean, she's just character galore. She's so wonderful and funny and cute, and yeah, man, I can't say enough about her. Like, and of course it comes out in Christmas '09, so I'll have to. I'll never get tired of saying how great it was to work with her, and it was so cool to work with her and Jim, you know, for their reuniting of I guess 20 years later, however long it's been. That was a really cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah. I guess by the time that comes out, you'll be too big to talk to us.
Never. As long as I'm still doing independent films, then we'll always have cool things to talk about, man.
Cool. Before I let you go here, what advice would you have for like an aspiring filmmaker?
I would say don't wait for the lottery ticket. This is the advice that I give to people, and who am I to give advice? But if somebody's going to ask, like, you know, it's so easy to have a script and just wait for that thing to happen, or be an actor and just wait for that one role, and I think that people kind of get complacent and lazy in their search for their career. And look, this is an industry like anything else. If you're going to be a banker, you're going to go and submit to a ton of different banks, and you're going to all of a sudden find the right bank, and you're going to work your way up in that bank. And I think that people get weird about entrepreneurial businesses like acting or directing or writing, and where they feel like something's owed to them, and I mean that with all due respect. And I think that people that have talent, something is owed to them, and it's called a career. And the way that you get that is by going out and hustling and working hard, and, you know, getting on the grind and getting your hands dirty. You know, if it means going out and shooting a short film, go shoot a short film. That's the way that I was able to direct a feature. Nobody cared about my acting career to give me money for a feature. Mm-hmm. I showed him a short that I had done, and it made it to South by Southwest. Fortunately, we were in their premiere selection, and I said, well, look, here, I have something I can show you. I'm not just a schmutz trying to get your money, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's all about the little things. Just hustle and do and get out there. And if you're an actor, do commercials. That's how I started it. Like, don't be above anything. Like, do Hottie and the Naughties.
I haven't seen it, so I can't say anything bad about Hottie and the Naughty.
It's all about hustle. Hey, right. Go, whoever's out there, go rent Hottie and the Naughty. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Paris is great, and you'll be surprised by her, but
I thought she was good in, what was the other movie she was in?
House of Wax.
Yeah, House of Wax.
Yeah.
Well, but even Christine Lakin, the gal who plays June Fig, the ugly girl, is she steals the show. I mean, she's just wonderful. This is her. If it wasn't so hated by the press for no apparent reason, this would have been her star maker. She's or maybe it still will. I hope that it still will. Christine and I are really good friends, and she couldn't be better in this movie. She's a delight.
Mm-hmm. And if no one has seen Dodgeball, you have to see that too. I don't want to talk too much about that because everybody knows Dodgeball, but that really is a good movie.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
The one you got to see now is Spiral.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see Spiral. Go rent it. You can get it on, Google's your friend. You can get it on Amazon, Best Buy. You go to your local Blockbuster, rent it. Please tell your friends. Support independent film. It's really important that people see numbers to independent films, because then the studio doesn't have such a grasp on the movies that you get so mad about watching when you go out and see a big $50 million movie that sucks balls. The way that you get away from that is to support independent filmmaking, and I'll continue to try to give that to you guys.
Excellent. And this is a true story. Troy and I actually watched Hatchet on Christmas Day, because I think that's a perfect Christmas film for everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, this is Adam Green, the director of Hatchet, and you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.